I'm a bioanalyst here at Arcinova, and I'm here today to show you around and to tell you a bit about what I do as a bioanalyst and to give you some important information on antibiotics. I've always loved science, and that's why I applied for triple award science at my secondary school. I then went on to study science at college, and I went into further education, so I studied science at university. I also completed a placement year, so I took a year out of my studies at university to work in a laboratory. And this is what I think is key to getting a job like mine. This is Arcinova, and it is a multi-service contract development and manufacturing organisation. We have different departments that specialise in different fields based on our clients' needs. So we have Isotope Labelling, which uses radioactive material. I know it doesn't glow green like it does in The Simpsons. We also have a drug product department, which specialise in making drugs and testing them. And this department is Bioanalytical Services, where I work. Let's go take a look inside the laboratories. This is Bioanalytical Services, and here we test drugs from patients on clinical trials. A clinical trial is a type of research used to test new treatments on a small number of patients. Now we're ready to go into the labs. But before we go in, we have to make sure we're wearing the correct safety equipment. So we have to wear our PPE, which stands for Personal Protective Equipment. It includes a dentist-style lab coat in these labs. We also have to wear safety specs to protect our eyes, and we have to wear special shoes to protect our toes. Now, we're no longer inside the labs I work at, we're by the microbiology labs, because we conduct microbial analysis here at Arcinova, which means we test on microorganisms like bacteria. I'm outside microbiology because I have an important message to send to you watching this video during Antibiotic Awareness Week. Alexander Fleming discovered the first widely used antibiotic. It is called penicillin. You might have heard of it, you might not. But he warned that antimicrobial resistance has the potential to ruin the miracle of antibiotics. Bacteria can gain resistance to antibiotics through mutations in their DNA. These antibiotic-resistant bacteria appeared as early as the 1940s. Antibiotics are chemicals that prevent the growth of bacteria. They do not work for viruses, and unfortunately, some bacteria are resistant to all currently available antibiotics, so there are limited options for these very unlucky patients. Antibiotics enable much of modern medicine. They are used to cure infectious diseases and to protect us after surgery, cancer treatments, and organ transplants. Without antibiotics, life-threatening infections would occur after routine procedures in hospitals. So sadly, we are at risk of losing this special tool we call antibiotics. The battle between scientists and antibiotic-resistant bacteria first began in the 1940s. At first, scientists just discovered many new antibiotics. This was very successful and worked for a while. However, over time, the newer antibiotics only worked for a few types of bacteria, as opposed to the whole spectrum that live around us. Bacteria are quite clever and can pass information onto each other. So, for example, if bacteria A has the resistance gene, they can pass this information onto bacteria B, making the antibiotic useless for both types, whereas before it would have affected bacteria type B. So this has been going on since the 1940s, and now some bacteria are resistant to many antibiotics we have, and some all of the antibiotics we have. The biggest consumer of antibiotics is agriculture. To me and you, that means that it's given to the chickens where we get our eggs from. So as animals are getting exposed to antibiotics, so are the bacteria around them. They're gaining and passing on this information, making antibiotics useless. And some bacteria aren't very fussy, so they like to infect humans as well as animals. And these can be passed on to us through the food we eat. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope you found it informative. But if there is one thing that you would take away from it, it would be this. So if we use antibiotics when we don't need them, we might not have them when we do need them in the future.